Good morning, one and all. In the previous audio clip, we were dealing with the two main systems of speech production, namely the respiratory system and the phonatory system. In this audio clip, we shall restrict ourselves to the articulatory system. So, as I told you, speaking involves the flow of air from the lungs, which is controlled in different parts of the mouth and the nose. So, in this audio clip, I propose to introduce you to the different articulators that are used to produce the sounds of English. And the articulators, in general, may be classified into under the articulatory system. You have the nose, the roof of the mouth, the tongue, the teeth, and the lips. So, you see, human beings produce speech by bringing air from the lungs through the larynx. And it is in the larynx you have the most important speech organ, namely the vocal cords. And the vocal cords might or might not vibrate. And that airflow is then modified or shaped by the so-called articulators. So, let us start with what we call the nose. Nose, you see, it is an important speech organ, and when the oral passage is closed, in the sense when the air passage, the flow of air from the lungs is closed at some point in our mouth, there is no other option for the air to flow out. It is forced to flow out only through the nose. So, sounds produced thus are known as nasal sounds. Next, we can have a look at the roof of the mouth. The roof of the mouth is technically termed palate. Palate in the sense when air passes out from the lungs through the larynx and finally out through the oral cavity or the mouth, the roof of the mouth plays a very significant role. So, which are the different parts of the roof of the mouth? So when we talk about the roof of the mouth is a major speech organ, and it can be broadly divided into three. First one, it is called the alveolar ridge or the teeth ridge, ALVEOLAR, alveolar ridge or the teeth ridge. Then you have the hard palate and the soft palate. Let me explain each of these terms in detail. First, we shall have a look at the alveolar ridge. Alveolar ridge refers to that part of the roof. We are talking about the roof of the mouth. That part of the roof of the mouth which happens to be located between the top front teeth and the hard palate. It is a hard or a bony structure located immediately behind our upper front teeth. It is also known as teeth ridge. You can feel its shape with your tongue because its surface is really much rougher than it feels, and is covered with little ridges. So, it is called the alveolar ridge. And next, you have the hard palate. Hard palate, it is the smooth, curved surface, that part of the roof of the mouth in front of the soft palate. First you have the alveolar ridge, then you have the hard palate. Hard palate refers to the long concave part of the roof of the mouth, which is located just in front of the soft palate. That is known as the hard palate. So it is also one of the most important articulators which is helpful in the production of speech sounds. Then finally you have the soft palate. Soft palate, which is also known as velum, V-E-L-U-M. Actually, soft palate is one of the most important articulators under the roof of the mouth. It allows air to pass through the nose and through the mouth. And it is one of the articulators that can be touched by our tongue. And very often in speech, it is raised. The soft palate is raised so much so that the air cannot escape through the mouth. And its main function is to separate the nasal cavity from the oral cavity in order to produce the oral speech sounds, the oral sounds. If this separation is incomplete, you see, the air will escape through the nose during speech. So it plays a very important role in the production of our speech sounds. And just immediately, you see, just in front of just at the back, you see, not in front, just at the back of the soft palate, you have a very loose, fleshy structure, which hangs like a pendulum. It is located at the back of the roof of the mouth, immediately at the back of the soft palate. And it is known as, it is technically termed uvula, U-V-U-L-A. And it is also known as the tip of the soft palate, with reference to its location on the soft palate. It is located just at the back of the soft palate, and it is very soft and fleshy. You can see it in your mirror, see it in the mirror. And it functions, you see, it is also one of the important articulators of speech sounds, and it functions in tandem with the back of the throat, the palate. The palate, in the sense, the roof of the mouth is technically known as palate, and the air coming up from the lungs to create a number of sounds. And in many languages, this uvula closes itself to prevent air from escaping through the nose while producing some speech sounds. So that is all about the roof of the mouth. We shall have a quick recapitulation of the important points or the important articulators that come under the roof of the mouth. The roof of the mouth is also technically termed palate, and it is broadly divided into three: alveolar ridge, hard palate, and the soft palate. Alveolar ridge, it is alternatively known as teeth ridge, and it is located between the upper front teeth and the hard palate. And next to the alveolar ridge, you have the hard palate, which is a curved surface, a long concave surface of the roof of the mouth. And immediately behind the hard palate, you have the soft palate. Soft palate, as I told you, is very important in the production of speech sounds. And just at the tip of the soft palate you have the soft fleshy structure which hangs loose like a pendulum, and it is known as uvula. That is, it is also known as the tip of the soft palate. Next we have the tongue, yet another important articulator involved in the production of speech sounds. The tongue, of course, is a very important articulator, and it can be moved into many different places and different shapes. And it is usual, you see, for the phoneticians to divide the tongue into different parts for the sake of convenience of study. And the broader divisions of the tongue include the tip, the blade, the front, the back, and the root. So these are the main classifications, the main broad classifications that come under the technical term tongue. So its movement, the movement of the tongue in oral cavity is very important in the production of almost every speech sound. And when we talk about tongue, we have to keep in mind its different parts, namely the tip, the blade, the front, the back, and the root. And when then you have the teeth. The teeth, as we all know, has two main broad divisions, namely the upper row of teeth and the lower row of teeth. And the tongue, it is the tongue that comes into contact with the upper row of teeth and helps in the production of many speech sounds. Then there are speech sounds with the tongue touching the front teeth. So the teeth also plays a very important role in the production of speech sounds. So that is yet another, teeth is yet another main articulator of speech sounds. Then you have the lips. The lips are very important in speech sounds, in the production of speech sounds. They are very important in speech, in the very process of speech, and lips include upper lip and lower lip. They also assume, just like the tongue, they also can assume different shapes. They also serve for creating different sounds. You see, lips can either be pressed together, it can be brought into contact with with the teeth, or it can either be rounded. So it can also take different forms or shapes. So lips are also very important articulators. So these are the important articulators involved in the production of speech sounds. So you have to keep in mind these main articulators. The pharynx, of course, it is a tube which begins just above the larynx. You have the airflow, the flow of air from the lungs, and it is modified at different points in our mouth. And so these articulators are the study of these articulators are very important in articulatory phonetics. So the most important articulators are the roof of the mouth, and under the roof of the mouth you have the teeth ridge or the alveolar ridge, soft palate, hard palate, the tongue. Then you have the tongue, the teeth, and the lips. So apart from performing a physiological function, they play a very important role in the production of speech sounds. The teeth, as we all know, they are not at all active. They are not, in the sense, not active in the sense they are not treated as active articulators. Whereas the most important articulator, the active articulator, is that of the tongue. Tongue is an active articulator because it can be moved in different directions. So, in order to produce different speech sounds. So, the vocal cords, the velum, the tongue, the soft palate, velum or the soft palate, the tongue and the lips are movable. Or in other words, they are referred to as the active articulators. The vocal cords, the soft palate, the tongue and the lips. There are 4 main active articulators, whereas all the other speech organs are fixed. The teeth doesn't move, that's why I refer to it as an active, passive articulators. It is not at all an active articulator. So these movable organs in the sense these active articulators like the vocal cords, the velum, the tongue, the lips, etc. They act independently of one another, and it is a collocation of their movements. It is a combination of their movements that result in the production of different speech sounds. So the combinations of the different different movements of the different articulators result in producing different speech sounds.